Welcome back to Daily English Talk, everyone. I'm Emily, and I'm super excited to be here with my fantastic co-hosts, Paul and Hasib.
Hey everyone, great to be back, Emily.
What's up, listeners? Always a pleasure.
Today, we're diving into something that, honestly, might make some of you a little uncomfortable. It's a challenge, a real test of our modern habits.
Ooh, a challenge? I like the sound of that. Are we talking about, trying to bake a souffle or something?
Or maybe going a whole day without coffee, Paul? Now that would be a challenge for me.
Good guesses, guys. But no, it's actually something far more fundamental to our daily lives. We're talking about a day without your phone.
Whoa, a day without my phone? Emily, are you serious? That's a big ask.
That's intense. My phone is practically glued to my hand. How would you even do that?
Exactly. And that's why we're calling this our Digital Detox experiment. It's about unplugging from technology, specifically our smartphones, for a full 24 hours.
Digital detox. I've heard that phrase before, but I've never actually considered doing one. Sounds a bit scary, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like, what would you even do? How would you navigate? How would you communicate?
Those are all excellent questions, Hasib, and ones I've been asking myself. Because, guess what? I'm going to be the one taking on this challenge.
You are? Oh, Emily, you're brave. I don't know if I could even give it a try.
Wow, hats off to you. I mean, it's definitely stepping out of your comfort zone, isn't it?
Absolutely, Hasib. It's definitely a huge step out of my comfort zone. But that's precisely the point, right? To see what happens when we remove that constant digital connection.
So what's the goal here? Just to prove you can do it? Or is there more to it?
Well, a bit of both, Paul. I want to explore how it impacts my day, my productivity, my interactions with people around me. And for all of you listening, we want to spark a conversation. Have you ever tried going a day without your phone? Or even just a few hours?
That's a good question. I think for most of us, it's just second nature now. We wake up, check our phones. We go to bed, check our phones. It's the first thing and the last thing.
It really is. My phone is my alarm clock, my news source, my map, my camera, everything.
Exactly. It's become so integrated that the idea of unplugging feels almost impossible. But that's what we're going to explore. What do we gain? And what do we lose when we intentionally disconnect?
I'm really curious to hear how this goes for you, Emily. I mean, what's your plan for the day? Are you just going to hide it in a drawer?
Good question, Hasib. My plan is actually quite simple. No touching, no looking, no interacting with my smartphone for a full 24 hours. From the moment I wake up until I go to sleep the next day.
No cheating, huh? No quick peek just in case?
No cheating. It's a proper digital fast. I'll still have my laptop for work, obviously, but the phone is off limits. I'm imagining it's going to be pretty tough, especially with navigation. And just, feeling that urge to check something.
Oh, the phantom vibration syndrome. You know, when you think your phone just vibrated, but it didn't.
Precisely. I'm expecting a lot of that. But I'm also hoping to discover some unexpected benefits. Maybe more presence, more awareness of my surroundings.
I'm picturing you wandering around lost, trying to remember how to read a paper map, if you even have one.
Hey, don't jinx me, Paul. But seriously, it's going to be an adventure. And we'll be sharing all the ups and downs right here on Daily English Talk.
I'm looking forward to the next episode already to hear your debrief. This is definitely going to be an eye-opener.
Me too. So, for all of you listening, think about it. Could you go a day without your phone? What would be the hardest part for you? Let us know on social media using #DailyEnglishTalk. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And join us next time as I recount my phone-free day. All right, so you all know I took on the Digital Detox Challenge. Well, folks, I'm here to tell you all about it. Let's just say it was an experience.
Oh, I've been waiting for this. Spill the beans, Emily. How was it? Did you survive?
Yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat. Did you manage to go the full 24 hours without a single peek?
I did. I really did. but let me tell you, the first few hours were probably the hardest. It all started when I woke up.
Ah, the moment of truth. How did you even wake up without your phone alarm? Did you just, naturally rise with the sun?
Well, I wish. My alarm clock, my trusty old smartphone, was nowhere to be found, of course. So I actually used an old school alarm clock. You know, one of those battery-operated ones. It's been sitting in a drawer for years. But I must admit, I did sleep in a little later than usual. Like maybe 20 minutes past my normal time?
20 minutes! That's practically a lie-in for me. So, you finally wake up. What's the very first thing you do?
Exactly. The very first thing I did, literally before my feet even hit the floor, was reach for my phone. Out of pure habit. My hand just went straight to my bedside table where it usually sits.
Oh, the muscle memory. I totally get that. I bet that was a weird feeling.
Right? And then my hand just hovered there for a second, like, wait a minute, what am I doing? It was such a strange feeling, like my brain hadn't quite caught up with the challenge yet. It took a good few seconds for me to fully wake up to the reality of the situation.
So, no quick scroll through social media, no checking the news headlines. What did you do instead?
That's exactly it. My morning routine was completely thrown off. Usually, I'd check the weather while I'm still in bed, maybe glance at a few headlines. But this time, nothing. I had to actually look out the window to see what the weather was like.
Imagine that. Old-fashioned weather forecasting. Next, you'll be telling me you brewed coffee without looking up a recipe on your phone.
I know, right? And for news, I actually picked up a physical newspaper. Can you believe it? I haven't done that in ages. It felt different, slower. I actually read a whole article, not just the first paragraph.
That's interesting. So was it frustrating or more like a relief?
Both, actually. At first, there was definitely a pang of frustration. That feeling of missing out, you know? Like, what if something important happened overnight? But then, after I got past that initial urge to reach for my phone, there was this weird sense of calm. No notifications popping up, no endless scrolling.
So the quiet was actually a good thing. You felt more present, even if you did sleep in a bit.
It really was. I found myself just listening to the sounds of my apartment, the birds outside, things I usually drown out with podcasts or music on my phone. It was a completely different way to wake up and start the day. More present, more mindful, like I said. It made me realize how much of my morning is usually spent glued to that screen, even before I've properly started my day. It's like I'm trying to catch up with the world before I've even caught up with myself.
That's a powerful insight. I mean, we all wake up and immediately grab our phones. It's almost involuntary, isn't it?
It really is, and it makes you wonder, what are we missing out on when we wake up that way? What if we gave ourselves that first half hour, or even just 15 minutes, to truly wake up and be in the moment before diving into the digital world?
Beyond the alarm and news, were there any other immediate practical challenges in the morning? Like for breakfast or getting ready?
Oh, absolutely. Navigation was a big one, which I'll get to later. But even small things. I usually listen to a specific playlist while I'm getting ready. Had to find my old radio. And then trying to remember if I had any appointments for the day without my calendar app. I had to dig out my physical planner. Remember those? To check.
Wow, a physical planner. That's a blast from the past. So it really forced you to be more organized in a different way.
It did. It forced me to be more intentional about everything. Instead of just reacting to notifications or impulses, I had to consciously decide what to do next. It felt like I was actually living my morning rather than just scrolling through it. So yeah, the morning was eye-opening. And that was just the beginning, guys. The rest of the day had its own set of surprises. It felt like I was actually living my morning rather than just scrolling through it. So yeah, the morning was eye-opening. And that was just the beginning, guys. The rest of the day had its own set of surprises. After that rather mindful start, My next big hurdle was actually getting to our pre-arranged breakfast.
Ah, yes, our breakfast. I remember that. You were, shall we say, a tad late?
A tad. 20 minutes, Paul. 20 minutes and a lot of frantic map reading with a printout I'd made the night before. Honestly, I felt like a tourist in my own city. But when I finally got there, it was different.
Different how? Was it just the relief of finding the place without GPS?
Partially, Hasib. But also, when I sat down, I noticed something immediately. Neither of us reached for our phones. It was just us and the menu.
Yeah, I actually remember thinking that too, Emily. It felt lighter somehow. No buzzing, no notifications, no quick checks under the table. Just the two of us, you know?
Exactly. And I think because of that, our conversation felt more present, more engaged. We actually looked at each other, not over each other's shoulders at a screen.
We really did. I mean, we always have good chats, but this time it felt like we really got to catch up. Like, properly catch up on things.
That's a great way to put it, Paul. It wasn't just small talk. It felt like a genuinely meaningful conversation. We talked about our plans for the day, what we were working on, even just little observations about the restaurant.
So you're saying the absence of the phone actually improved the quality of your interaction? That's a pretty big claim.
I really think so. For me, at least. Usually, even if my phone is on silent, there's that subconscious urge to check it. Or I might glance at it if I hear someone else's phone buzz. But this time, that whole layer of distraction was just gone.
I agree, Emily. I didn't realize how much of a habit it was for me to just have my phone on the table, face down, even if I wasn't actively using it. It's like a security blanket, almost. And without it, I felt completely focused on what you were saying.
It's true. I remember asking you about your plans for the afternoon, Paul, and you actually gave me a really detailed answer. Not just a quick, oh, some meetings.
Well, you were actually listening intently. No chance of you getting distracted by a pop-up ad for cat videos. I was telling you about that big presentation I had coming up, wasn't I?
You were. And I remember every detail because I wasn't mentally half checking my emails. It was such a refreshing change. It made me realize how often I probably think I'm listening, but I'm really only giving about 70% of my attention.
That's a powerful point. I'm guilty of that too. You know, you're nodding along, making eye contact, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking about that notification you just saw flash on your screen.
Exactly. And that's what was so different. There was no back of my mind digital noise. It was just the conversation, the food, the atmosphere. We really got to be in the present moment.
It wasn't just the listening either. I felt like I was explaining things better too. Like I knew I had your full attention, so I could really elaborate. No need to rush because I thought you might get bored and reach for your phone.
Totally. And we talked about your weekend plans, didn't we? You were planning to finally catch up on that new series everyone's been raving about.
Oh, that's right. And you were telling me about that book you wanted to read. See? We actually remembered details about each other's lives because we were genuinely engaged. It's not just about what we don't do with our phones. It's about what we do with that freed up attention.
So it's not just about avoiding distractions. It's about actively investing in the conversation. That's a big takeaway.
It really is. It made me think about how many conversations we have where we're only partially there. Imagine if every interaction, even a quick coffee with a friend, felt that focused.
It would be amazing. Though, I have to admit, after you left, my hand did instinctively go for my phone to check for messages. Old habits die hard, even if you're not the one doing the detox.
I bet. For me, though, I felt a real sense of accomplishment after that breakfast. Not just because I'd navigated there phone-free, but because I felt like I'd had a really good, solid interaction with you, Paul. It set a really positive tone for the rest of my day.
So it wasn't just a personal challenge. It actually had a ripple effect on your social interactions. That's fascinating.
Absolutely. It made me wonder, how often do we miss out on these deeper connections because we're constantly tethered to our devices? It's not just about being polite. It's about enriching our relationships.
And I think it goes beyond just face-to-face. Even if you're alone, not having that constant stream of digital input allows your brain to process things differently. You actually think more.
You really do. And after breakfast, that's exactly what I found myself doing. Instead of just pulling out my phone while waiting for the bus, I was just observing. People, buildings, the sounds of the city. It was like seeing things with fresh eyes.
Wow. So this digital detox is turning out to be less about deprivation and more about rediscovery.
In many ways, yes. It was challenging, don't get me wrong. But moments like that breakfast with Paul really highlighted the benefits. It was a stark reminder of what we might be losing when we let our phones dominate our attention.
I'm glad I could be part of your experiment, Emily, even if it was just by being a phone-free dining companion. It definitely made me think about my own habits.
And that's exactly what we hope for our listeners, too. Think about your last meal with a friend or family member. Were phones on the table? Were people checking them? What would it be like to put them away and truly catch up?
That's a great question to ponder. I know I'm definitely going to be more mindful of that moving forward. So, Emily, after this illuminating breakfast, what was next on your phone-free agenda? Did the challenges get any easier or harder?
Oh, they definitely got different, Hasib. Let's just say my afternoon involved a few more unexpected detours. But we'll save those stories for next time. For now, try that challenge. A meal with no phones. And tell us how it goes. Oh, they definitely got different, Hasib. Let's just say my afternoon involved a few more unexpected detours. But we'll save those stories for next time. For now, try that challenge. A meal with no phones. And tell us how it goes. So, after that really insightful breakfast with Paul, my next mission was to get to a few appointments I had lined up. And that meant public transport. Usually, this is prime phone time for me, you know? Catching up on emails, scrolling through social media, listening to a podcast.
Oh, I know that feeling. The commute is basically designated screen time for most of us. How did you even survive without your usual digital fix?
Survive is a good word for it, Paul. At first, it was honestly a bit painful. My hand kept hovering over my bag, wanting to pull out my phone. I felt this weird restlessness, like I should be doing something. My brain was just conditioned to be stimulated.
That's the habit, right? That urge to fill every spare moment with something digital. So, what did you do instead of scrolling? Stare at the back of the seat in front of you?
Pretty much at first. But then I forced myself to just look around. And I mean really look around. Not just a quick glance, but actually observing my surroundings. And it was genuinely eye-opening.
What do you mean by look around? Like, just notice the ads on the bus?
Well, that too, but much more than that. I started people watching, for example. I saw a young girl completely absorbed in a paperback book. Remember those? And an elderly couple holding hands, quietly smiling at each other. I saw a businessman meticulously polishing his shoes. Little vignettes of life.
People watching, I haven't actively done that in ages. I guess when you're on your phone, you're looking down, not out.
Exactly. And it wasn't just people. I started to take in the sights outside the window. Buildings I've passed 1,000 times suddenly looked different. I noticed a new mural on a wall, a quirky little cafe I'd never seen before, even just the way the light was hitting the trees. It was like seeing my city with fresh eyes.
So you actually became more aware of your environment just by not being glued to your phone. That's pretty cool.
It really was. And the interesting thing is, it wasn't just about external observations. It also gave me time to just be with my own thoughts. Instead of constantly consuming information, I found myself just lost in thought, processing things, daydreaming a bit.
So you're saying the commute, which for most of us is just dead time we try to get through, actually became a more enriching experience?
In a way, yes. It felt less like dead time and more like a quiet interlude. I realized how much I usually tune out the world around me when I'm on my phone. All those little details, all those brief human connections you might make with a glance or a smile, they just pass you by.
It's like we're all in our own little digital bubbles, isn't it? Even when we're in a crowded space, we're not really there together.
Totally. And I found myself thinking about things, problem solving, even just planning my day in my head without any digital input. It was a completely different kind of mental space, more reflective.
That's a huge benefit. I mean, how many times have I tried to brainstorm an idea, but then I get distracted by a notification and completely lose my train of thought?
Countless times, I bet. For me, it was a reminder that sometimes boredom isn't a bad thing. Sometimes that quiet space is where creativity and clarity can actually emerge. It gave my brain a chance to breathe.
So the initial restlessness eventually gave way to something more positive. Did you feel less stressed, maybe?
Definitely less stressed by the constant influx of information. I wasn't worried about what I was missing online because I knew I couldn't check anyway. It was liberating in a strange way. I was just there, in the moment, on the bus, going where I needed to go.
That's a powerful shift. From feeling like you have to be connected to feeling liberated by not being connected.
Exactly. It showed me that there are so many missed connections and observations that happen every day because we're not fully present. And it made me wonder, how many times have I been on a beautiful train journey, only to spend the whole time staring at a screen?
It's a real wake-up call, isn't it? To actually look around and appreciate what's right in front of you. I'm imagining how many interesting things I've just walked past without ever noticing.
Right? So the phrasal verb look around really came to life for me. It's not just about turning your head. It's about shifting your attention, opening your awareness. It's about taking a moment to absorb your environment, whether it's the details of a bustling street or the quiet corners of your own home.
So it's about being observant, right? Not just looking, but seeing.
Precisely. And it gave me a whole new perspective on my daily commute. What used to be a somewhat mind-numbing journey became an opportunity for reflection and observation. It was a small but significant shift in my day.
I think I might actually try that on my next commute. Just put the phone away and intentionally look around. See what I notice.
You absolutely should, Paul, even for 10 minutes. It's amazing what you can discover when you consciously break the habit of reaching for your phone. It felt like a breath of fresh air, honestly.
I can imagine. It's like you're reclaiming that time for yourself, rather than letting it be dictated by notifications.
Exactly. And that was just the commute. The afternoon had even more unexpected twists and turns, especially when I needed to find my way somewhere new without GPS. But those unexpected detours are a story for next time. For now, think about your own commute or any time you're just waiting around. What would happen if you didn't reach for your phone? What might you see, hear, or think about if you just looked around? Let us know your thoughts on social media using #DailyEnglishTalk. We'd love to hear your experiences. So, after my rather contemplative commute, I finally made it to the office. And honestly, walking in without my phone felt strange, like I was missing a limb or something. My usual routine involves a quick check of emails and messages before I even sit down.
Oh, I can totally relate to that. It's like the first thing you do, right? Mentally preparing for the day's digital onslaught.
Exactly! But since that wasn't an option, I just sat down. And surprisingly, I found myself just immediately opening my laptop and getting straight into work. There was no pre-work distraction, no quick scroll through social media just to see.
So you just got down to business? No messing around? That's impressive.
Pretty much, Paul. I just got down to business. And that's actually where I started to notice a huge difference. Without the constant pull of my phone, I could really concentrate on the tasks at hand. It was like my brain had fewer tabs open, if that makes sense.
That's a powerful observation. I mean, how often do we sit down to work, but then 5 minutes later, we're checking a notification or just mindlessly scrolling?
All the time. And what happens then? You lose your train of thought, and it takes time to get back into the flow. But this time, I just stayed in the flow. I was working on a report, and I just kept going. No interruptions. No little dings or buzzes pulling me away.
So you're saying it actually boosted your productivity? You got more done faster?
Absolutely. I felt like I was doing deep work. You know that feeling when you're completely immersed in something and time just flies by? That's what it was like. I wasn't just working, I was genuinely engaged with what I was doing. I finished that report in record time, and I felt really good about the quality of it, too.
Wow. Deep work without a phone. That's almost like a superpower in our modern world. Most of us are constantly switching between tasks, responding to messages, checking emails.
And it's exhausting, isn't it? That constant context switching? But without my phone, that simply wasn't happening. I could actually concentrate on one thing from start to finish. It was incredibly refreshing.
I've heard people talk about the benefits of deep work before, but it always seems so hard to achieve when your phone is right there, buzzing away.
It really is. I realized how much mental energy I usually expend just resisting the urge to check my phone. That little voice in the back of your head saying, just a quick look. When that voice wasn't there, it was like a weight off my shoulders. I could just focus.
So it wasn't just about avoiding distractions, but also freeing up mental bandwidth that you'd usually spend on self-control. That's a huge insight.
Exactly. And because of that, I felt less drained at the end of the morning. I wasn't constantly fighting myself. I was just working. It really did boost my productivity in a way I hadn't expected.
I wonder how many of our listeners feel that constant battle, trying to concentrate on work while their phone is just sitting there, tempting them.
I bet it's most of us, Paul. And it makes you question, how much more could we achieve if we intentionally created these phone-free zones, especially during our most important work tasks?
It's a valid point. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm working around my phone, rather than just working. Like, I'll put it face down or in another room just to try and force myself to concentrate on something.
And that's exactly what this challenge did for me. It forced that separation. It allowed me to experience what it's truly like to get down to business without that ever-present digital companion.
Did you notice any difference in how you interacted with colleagues? Like, did you talk to people more or less?
That's a great question. I actually found myself talking to people more, but in a different way. Instead of sending a quick message or email, I'd actually walk over to their desk and have a quick chat. It felt more personal, more direct.
So it improved your in-person communication as well? That's another unexpected benefit.
Definitely. It made me realize how often we default to digital communication even when a quick face-to-face would be more efficient, and often more human. It was another way the detox helped me concentrate on the present moment and the people around me.
It's almost like the phone creates a barrier, even when we think it's connecting us.
Precisely. So yeah, the work part of my digital detox day was surprisingly positive. It showed me that taking away the phone isn't just about deprivation. It's about gaining focus, boosting productivity, and really engaging in deep work.
I'm definitely going to try implementing some phone-free work blocks, just to see if I can experience that deep work you're talking about.
You absolutely should, Hasib. Even just for an hour. See how much more you can concentrate on one task when you remove that immediate distraction. It's a real game changer for boosting productivity.
So, after this incredibly productive phone-free work session, what was next for you, Emily? Did the afternoon hold more surprises?
Oh, it certainly did, Paul. After all that deep work, I ventured out again, and that's when the real navigation challenges kicked in. Let's just say trying to find a new place without GPS was an adventure of its own. But those stories and how I eventually managed to unwind without my usual digital wind down will have to wait until next time. For now, think about your own workday. What would happen if you put your phone away for an hour or two? Could you get down to business and concentrate on one thing? Could it boost your productivity and lead to some deep work? We'd love to hear your experiences and tips on social media using #DailyEnglishTalk. Join us next time for the final part of my digital detox debrief. So, after that surprisingly productive morning of deep work, it was time to venture out for lunch. And guess who I was meeting? You, Hasib.
That's right. I remember you looking a little flustered when you arrived, Emily. I think you mentioned something about a map and a wrong turn.
Flustered is an understatement. That was one of those unexpected detours I mentioned. Trying to navigate to a new restaurant without GPS was an experience. I actually ended up walking in a complete circle at one point.
Oh no, so the paper map didn't quite cut it, huh?
Well, it eventually did, Paul. But not without some frantic backtracking and a lot of asking strangers for directions. It really highlighted how dependent I've become on my phone for even basic navigation. But when I finally got to the restaurant, it was such a relief.
Yeah, and I noticed right away no phone on the table. It felt different. Kind of refreshing, actually.
It really was. And because we didn't have that digital distraction, I felt like we had such a meaningful exchange.
A meaningful exchange? What do you mean? We always have good conversations.
We do, Hasib, but this felt deeper somehow. It wasn't just catching up on surface level stuff. It felt like we really got to connect on a deeper level.
So, the absence of the phone actually changed the quality of the conversation? That's a pretty big claim, Emily.
I genuinely think so, Mark. For me, it meant I was practicing true active listening. I wasn't just nodding along. I was fully engaged, processing every word you said, Hasib.
I totally felt that, actually. I remember I was telling you about some challenges I've been having with a new project, and you asked really insightful follow-up questions. It made me feel like you were truly present.
And because of that, Hasib, I felt like you started to open up more about it. You weren't just giving me the headlines. You were sharing the nuances, the difficulties, and even your hopes for how it would turn out.
That's true. I guess I didn't feel the need to rush, or worry that you'd get distracted and check your phone. It made me feel more comfortable to share my thoughts and feelings.
That's incredible. It's like the phone creates a subconscious barrier, even when we don't realize it's there.
Exactly, and that's what made it such a meaningful exchange. We talked about our families, our long-term goals, even some personal reflections on the digital detox itself. Things we might usually gloss over or save for a longer, more intentional chat.
Yeah, I felt like we actually had the space to explore those topics. It wasn't fragmented. There was a real flow to the conversation.
Absolutely. And that's the power of active listening, right? When you truly listen, people feel heard, and they're more likely to open up and share more. It builds trust and strengthens the relationship.
So it's not just about what you don't do, not checking your phone, but what you do with that freed up attention. You invest it in the other person.
Precisely, Mark. It made me realize how often I probably miss out on opportunities to connect on a deeper level with people because I'm either distracted by my phone or subconsciously anticipating a notification.
I'm definitely going to think about that next time I'm having lunch with someone. Just putting the phone away out of sight and really focusing.
You absolutely should, Hasib. It's a small change that can have a huge impact on the quality of your interactions. I left that lunch feeling so much more connected and understood.
It sounds like the digital detox is doing more than just showing you how dependent you are on your phone. It's actually enhancing your human connections.
It really is, Paul. It's a powerful reminder that some of the richest experiences come from being fully present with the people around us. That meaningful exchange with Hasib was definitely one of the highlights of my phone-free day.
I'd agree with that. It was a really good chat. Felt like we covered a lot of ground without even realizing how much time had passed.
Exactly. It's amazing how much you can truly discuss when you're not constantly glancing at a screen. So after that really fulfilling lunch, the afternoon continued to unfold with its own set of challenges and lessons. But those stories and how I eventually managed to unwind without my usual digital wind down will have to wait until next time. For now, try this challenge. The next time you have a meal with a friend, a family member, or even a colleague, put your phones away. Truly practice active listening. See if you can have a meaningful exchange and connect on a deeper level. Maybe even encourage them to open up a bit more. Let us know how it goes on social media using #DailyEnglishTalk. We'd love to hear your experiences. Join us next time for the final part of my Digital Detox debrief. Welcome back to the final part of my Digital Detox debrief. You know, after that surprisingly productive morning and the really insightful lunch with Hasib, my afternoon held a few more unexpected detours, as I teased last time.
Yes. The detours. Did you eventually find your way without summoning a search party, Emily?
Barely, Paul. I had another appointment across town. And let's just say my printed map and my sense of direction are not quite as in sync as Google Maps. I definitely took a wrong turn a couple of times and had to ask for directions from complete strangers. It was humbling, to say the least.
I can just imagine. We're so used to our phones just telling us exactly where to go. So, you eventually made it, but it was a struggle?
A struggle, but also an adventure. It forced me to pay attention to street names, landmarks, and actually interact with people. But after all that navigating, I was pretty ready to unwind when I finally got home. And that's where the real challenge of the evening began.
Right, the evening. This is prime screen time for so many of us. How did you manage to switch off without scrolling through social media or watching a show on your phone?
That's exactly it, Paul. My usual routine is to kick back, grab my phone, and just tune out for a bit. But with no phone, there was this initial void. I felt a bit restless, like I didn't know what to do with myself.
So, that familiar feeling of what do I do with my hands, but for your brain.
Precisely, Hasib. But after a little bit of that, I actually started to lean into it. I decided to take a step back from all the digital noise and just be. I put on some music, actual music from a speaker, not my phone, and picked up a book, a physical book.
Wow, a real blast from the past for the evening. Did it actually help you unwind? Or did you just keep thinking about what you were missing online?
Honestly, after about 20 minutes, that feeling of missing out really started to fade. And what replaced it was this incredible sense of calm. Seriously, I felt so much more relaxed than I usually do after an evening of screen time. It was like my brain finally had a chance to recharge its batteries.
A sense of calm. I think that's what a lot of us are actually looking for when we scroll, but we rarely find it.
Exactly. Instead of feeling overstimulated or bombarded with information, I felt present. And I found myself thinking more clearly. It was like I had a clearer head to process the day, to think about my own thoughts without constant interruption.
So it wasn't just about avoiding distractions, but actively gaining something, like mental clarity.
Absolutely, Mark. It was a complete shift. I realized how much mental clutter my phone usually brings into my evening. Without it, I could actually just let my mind wander, reflect on my day, and even plan for the next one in a really relaxed way. It was a revelation.
That's a huge benefit. I mean, I often feel like my brain is still buzzing even after I put my phone down at night.
Mine too. But this time, I felt genuinely ready for bed. Not just physically tired from a long day, but mentally calm. It made me realize the pros and cons of constant connectivity are really stark. The convenience is huge, but the cost to our mental peace can be significant.
So, in a nutshell, what's your overall takeaway from the entire 24 hours, Emily? Was it a blessing in disguise or just a massive headache?
Definitely more of a blessing in disguise, Paul. Though it had its headaches too. The biggest pro was that feeling of presence, of being more aware of my surroundings, my conversations, and even my own thoughts. The clarity, the focus, the deeper connections. Those were huge wins.
And the cons? Besides the navigation mishaps, of course.
The cons were mostly the initial discomfort and the feeling of dependency. It really hit home how much I rely on my phone for everything from waking up to navigating to just filling a spare moment. It's hard to come to terms with that level of reliance.
I think many of us would struggle to get our heads around going a full day without our phones. It sounds like you really pushed past that initial discomfort and found something valuable.
I really did. It made me question, do I need my phone for all these things? Or do I just use it for them out of habit? It's definitely changed my perspective. I'm not going to throw out my phone altogether, don't worry. But I'm certainly going to be more intentional about when and how I use it.
So it's not about a complete ban, but more about mindful usage.
Precisely, Hasib. It's about finding that balance. Creating intentional phone-free zones or times, even just for an hour a day, to cultivate that sense of calm and enjoy a clearer head. It's about remembering what it feels like to truly be present.
That's a powerful message, Emily. I know I'm definitely going to be thinking about my own pros and cons and trying to find some of that clearer head time myself.
I hope so, Paul. And for all of you listening, I really encourage you to try your own mini digital detox, even if it's just for an hour or a morning. See what happens when you intentionally switch off and take a step back from your phone. What do you notice? What do you gain?
Yeah, let us know if you find your own sense of calm or experience a clearer head. We'd love to hear about your pros and cons too.
Absolutely. Share your experiences on social media using #DailyEnglishTalk. It's been a truly eye-opening experiment for me, and I'm so glad I bit the bullet and took it on. It gave me so much to reflect on.
Right, the evening. This is prime screen time for so many of us. How did you manage to switch off without scrolling through social media or watching a show on your phone?
That's exactly it, Paul. My usual routine is to kick back, grab my phone, and just tune out for a bit. But with no phone, there was this initial void. I felt a bit restless, like I didn't know what to do with myself.
So that familiar feeling of, what do I do with my hands, but for your brain?
Precisely, Hasib. But after a little bit of that, I actually started to lean into it. I decided to take a step back from all the digital noise and just be. I put on some music, actual music from a speaker, not my phone, and picked up a book, a physical book.
Wow, a real blast from the past for the evening. Did it actually help you unwind? Or did you just keep thinking about what you were missing online?
Honestly, after about 20 minutes, that feeling of missing out really started to fade. And what replaced it was this incredible sense of calm. Seriously, I felt so much more relaxed than I usually do after an evening of screen time. It was like my brain finally had a chance to recharge its batteries.
A sense of calm. I think that's what a lot of us are actually looking for when we scroll, but we rarely find it.
Exactly. Instead of feeling overstimulated or bombarded with information, I felt present, and I found myself thinking more clearly. It was like I had a clearer head to process the day, to think about my own thoughts without constant interruption.
So it wasn't just about avoiding distractions, but actively gaining something, like mental clarity?
Absolutely, Mark. It was a complete shift. I realized how much mental clutter my phone usually brings into my evening. Without it, I could actually just let my mind wander, reflect on my day, and even plan for the next one in a really relaxed way. It was a revelation.
That's a huge benefit. I mean, I often feel like my brain is still buzzing even after I put my phone down at night.
Mine too. But this time, I felt genuinely ready for bed. Not just physically tired from a long day, but mentally calm. And that's not all. After reading for a while, I actually decided to pursue a hobby I haven't touched in ages: drawing.
Drawing? I didn't know you were an artist, Emily.
Well, artist might be a strong word, Paul, but I used to love sketching. My old sketchbook and pencils were just gathering dust in a drawer. But without the phone, I had this unexpected urge to pick them up. It felt like a real creative outlet.
That's amazing. So you actually rediscovered an old passion. What was that like?
It was fantastic, Hasib. I just started sketching whatever came to mind. A plant on my windowsill, a memory from my day. And before I knew it, an hour had flown by. I was completely immersed. I truly lost myself in the activity.
Lost yourself in it? Like you weren't even aware of time passing?
Exactly. It was that feeling of deep focus, where everything else just fades away. No thoughts about emails, no worries about what was happening on social media. It was just me and the paper. And the enjoyment was so pure, so unadulterated. It was a completely different kind of relaxation than passively watching a show or scrolling.
I can imagine. It sounds like a much more fulfilling way to unwind than just zoning out in front of a screen.
It really was. And it made me realize how many hobbies and interests I've let fall by the wayside because the phone is always there, offering instant, effortless entertainment. But that effortlessness often comes at the cost of genuine engagement and a real sense of calm.
So the digital detox wasn't just about disconnecting from technology, but reconnecting with yourself, and your own interests?
Precisely, Paul. It highlighted the pros and cons of constant connectivity are really stark. The convenience is huge, but the cost to our mental peace and our ability to pursue a hobby or find a creative outlet can be significant. It was a powerful reminder of what we gain when we intentionally switch off.
That's a huge takeaway. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about all the things I used to love doing that I just don't make time for anymore because I'm on my phone.
Me too, Hasib. It really hit home how much I rely on my phone for everything from waking up to navigating to just filling a spare moment. It's hard to come to terms with that level of reliance, but it's also liberating to know there are other ways to spend that time.
I think many of us would struggle to get our heads around going a full day without our phones. But it sounds like you really pushed past that initial discomfort and found something truly valuable.
I really did. It made me question, do I need my phone for all these things? Or do I just use it for them out of habit? It's definitely changed my perspective. I'm not going to throw out my phone altogether, don't worry. But I'm certainly going to be more intentional about when and how I use it.
So it's not about a complete ban, but more about mindful usage.
Precisely, Hasib. It's about finding that balance, creating intentional phone-free zones or times, even just for an hour a day, to cultivate that sense of calm and enjoy a clearer head. It's about remembering what it feels like to truly be present, to lose oneself in something fulfilling, and to explore a creative outlet or pursue a hobby.
That's a powerful message, Emily. I know I'm definitely going to be thinking about my own pros and cons and trying to find some of that clearer head time myself. Maybe even dust off my old guitar.
You absolutely should, Paul! And for all of you listening, I really encourage you to try your own mini digital detox, even if it's just for an hour or a morning. See what happens when you intentionally switch off and take a step back from your phone. What do you notice? What do you gain? Do you find yourself rediscovering an old hobby or a new creative outlet?
Yeah, let us know if you find your own sense of calm or experience a clearer head. We'd love to hear about your pros and cons too, and what you choose to lose yourself in instead of your screen.
Absolutely! Share your experiences on social media using hashtag Daily English Talk. It's been a truly eye-opening experiment for me, and I'm so glad I bit the bullet and took it on. It gave me so much to reflect on. Thank you both, Paul and Hasib, for being such great co-hosts and listening to all my detox adventures.
Our pleasure, Emily. It's been fascinating.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Emily. You've definitely given us all something to think about.
And thank you, our wonderful listeners, for joining us on Daily English Talk. Until next time, stay present, stay mindful, and maybe, just maybe, try to unwind without your phone. Goodbye for now. You know, Paul, speaking of unwinding, it actually made me think about our dinner last week. Remember that?
Oh, the one where we tried that new Italian place? Yeah, I remember. What about it?
Well, it was just a few days after my digital detox, right? And I couldn't help but notice how different it felt compared to how I usually approach dinner out.
Different how? I mean, we always have good conversations.
We do, absolutely. But that night, it felt like we were both just so much more present. Like, really there. My phone wasn't even in my bag. It was still locked away at home, and I hadn't even thought about it.
You know what? I actually felt that too. I usually have my phone on the table face down just out of habit. But that night, I think I put it away in my jacket pocket without even consciously thinking about it. It just felt right, given everything you'd been through.
Exactly. And because of that, I felt like we had such genuine quality time. We weren't just eating and chatting. We were truly connecting. We talked over so many things, didn't we?
We really did. I remember we were talking over that big decision you had to make about the podcast new segment, and I felt like I could really give you my full attention, without my mind wandering or wondering if I'd missed a message.
Precisely. And because you were so engaged, I felt comfortable to really open up about my concerns. It made the whole experience so much richer. It wasn't just a meal. It was a real opportunity to cherish moments of genuine connection.
Yeah, I felt like we got to that whole situation in a way we might not have if we'd both been half distracted. It really does make a difference when you're not constantly battling the urge to check your screen.
It truly does. I realized how often I probably miss out on those deeper conversations because I'm either subconsciously waiting for a notification or I'm distracted by something happening on my screen. That night, there was none of that. It was just us, the food, and the conversation.
And the food actually tasted better too. Or maybe I just noticed it more because I wasn't trying to snap a picture of it for social media.
I know, right? It's like the whole experience became more vivid. We were able to just be present with each other. And that felt so incredibly refreshing. It made me think about how much quality time we sacrifice when we let our phones dictate our attention.
It's true. I've had so many dinners with friends where everyone's phones are on the table and people are constantly glancing at them, even if they're not actively using them. It's like a silent third party at the table.
Totally. And it's not just about politeness. It genuinely impacts the depth of the interaction. That dinner with you, Paul, was such a clear example of how much more we can gain when we commit to being fully present.
I agree. It made me reflect on my own habits. I've been trying to put my phone away more often during meals, even when I'm just eating alone. It's surprising how much more you notice and how much more you actually think.
That's fantastic to hear. It's those little shifts that can make a big difference, isn't it? It's about remembering to consciously cherish moments of connection, whether it's with a loved one or just with yourself.
Absolutely. And it's not always easy to break those habits, but that dinner really highlighted the benefits for me. It felt like a much more fulfilling evening.
Me too. It was a powerful reminder that some of the most meaningful exchanges happen when we strip away the digital noise and simply focus on the person across from us. It's about investing that attention, that precious mental bandwidth into building and nurturing our relationships.
So, the digital detox wasn't just about surviving a day without your phone. It was about transforming your everyday interactions and finding ways to have more quality time.
Exactly, Paul. It was a profound lesson in how to truly be present and how much that enhances our lives. It's something I'm actively trying to incorporate into my daily routine now.
That's inspiring, Emily. I think we all need to find more ways to cherish moments like that.
I couldn't agree more. So, for all of you listening, think about it. When was the last time you had a meal with someone where no phones were present? Did you feel more connected? Did you have a chance to really talk over things? What would it be like to intentionally create that quality time? And that's exactly it, isn't it? That dinner was a perfect example of the kind of connections we can make when we're truly present. But bringing it all back to my actual digital detox day, the one where my phone was completely off limits for 24 hours. Wow, what an experience.
So, after all those adventures and detours, Emily, how would you sum up the whole day? Was it everything you expected or something completely different?
Yeah, in a nutshell, what's the big takeaway? You've told us about the individual moments, but what's the feeling looking back on the entire 24 hours?
Well, in a nutshell, it was a profound, valuable lesson in what it means to truly disconnect. I went into it expecting it to be really tough, and it was at times. But I came out of it with so much more than just a sense of accomplishment. It was like hitting a mental reset button.
A mental reset button? That sounds pretty good right about now. So, what were the biggest lessons for you?
Gosh, there were so many. From the morning, I learned the power of a mindful start, just waking up and being before diving into the digital world. During my commute, I rediscovered the joy of looking around, of observing people and my city with fresh eyes. It was a huge reminder of how much I tune out normally.
And the work aspect too, right? You talked about how much more productive you were, getting that deep work done.
Absolutely, Paul. That was a huge one. Being able to concentrate on tasks without constant interruption. Really getting down to business and boosting my productivity. It made me realize how much mental energy I spend just resisting my phone during work hours. And then, those conversations. Both with you, Paul, at breakfast and with Hasib at lunch. Those meaningful exchanges, that feeling of truly connecting on a deeper level because we were both fully present. That was invaluable.
Yeah, I still think about that lunch. It really was different. And then your evening, rediscovering drawing and finding that sense of calm. That's a huge one for digital well-being.
It really is, Hasib. It showed me that true unwinding isn't always about passive consumption. It's about engaging with life, with people, with your own thoughts and hobbies. It gave me a clearer head than any amount of scrolling ever could.
So, knowing all that, what now? Are you going to throw out your phone and become a hermit? Or have you found a way to find a balance?
Definitely not throwing it out, Paul. I mean, it's an essential tool for work and staying connected with family. But this experience has fundamentally changed my relationship with it. It's made me realize that digital well-being isn't just a buzzword. It's something we actively need to cultivate.
So, what does that digital well-being look like for you going forward? How are you planning to find a balance?
Well, for starters, I'm going to be much more intentional about phone-free zones and times. No phone in the bedroom, especially not first thing in the morning. I want to reclaim that initial waking period for myself. And definitely during meals, whether I'm alone or with others. I want to make sure I'm truly present for those moments.
That's a great start. So, those little pockets of time where you'd usually just pull out your phone, you'll try to use them differently?
Exactly. On my commute, I'm going to try to look around more often. And during work, I'm going to set aside dedicated, deep work blocks where my phone is completely out of sight. It's about consciously taking a step back from the constant digital input and giving my brain space to breathe, to reflect, to create.
It sounds like you're shifting from reactive phone use to proactive, intentional engagement with your life. That's a powerful shift.
It really is. It's about not letting the phone dictate my attention, but rather me choosing where to direct it. It was a tough challenge, but it was such a valuable lesson that I think everyone could benefit from reflecting on.
I certainly agree. It's made me think hard about my own habits. And I'm definitely going to try some of your strategies, especially that deep work and the looking around on my commute.
I hope you do, Paul. And for all of you listening, that's really the biggest takeaway from my digital detox experiment. It's not about demonizing technology. It's about finding a balance that works for you, that supports your digital well-being, and allows you to be more present in your own life.
So, your challenge to our listeners is to explore their own relationship with their phones.
Exactly. Could you try a phone-free meal or an hour of deep work without your phone? What would it feel like to take a step back for a bit and see what you notice? We'd love to hear about your own valuable lessons and how you're trying to find a balance in your digital lives.
Share your thoughts and experiences using #DailyEnglishTalk on social media. We're really keen to hear how this conversation has resonated with you.
Absolutely. It's been a truly transformative experience for me, and I'm so glad I bit the bullet and took it on. Thank you both, Paul and Hasib, for being such fantastic co-hosts and for listening to all my detox adventures.
Our pleasure, Emily. It's been fascinating and definitely food for thought for all of us.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Emily. You've given us all a lot to reflect on and inspired me to try some of these changes myself.
And thank you, our wonderful listeners, for joining us on Daily English Talk. Until next time, stay present, stay mindful, and maybe, just maybe, try to unwind without your phone. Goodbye for now.